Hi, I'm Amy Oswald, Vision Rehabilitation Specialist with North Dakota Vision Services School for the Blind. So the very first thing I want to talk about is knife safety. So for myself, because I do have some shaking in my hands, I always choose to bring whatever I'm cutting to a table and sit down. For some people who don't have a lot of hand strength, that may not be the best option because they need to be able to put their body weight behind, their arms to be able to actually cut through whatever they are trying to cut. So some other things that I like doing is I like taking a small cutting board and I like putting it inside a cookie sheet with edges, or I've always called these jelly roll pans. It's just got the 1-inch edge on it. And the reason why I like doing that is because it gives it a little more stability. So if I were in my home, I would put this cutting board inside the cookie sheet, and I would put a wet paper towel in between the cutting board and the cookie sheet and the cookie sheet and the counter. What that will do is it will keep your tray and your cutting board from moving around. It'll keep it nice and steady. The other reason why I like putting the cutting board inside a jelly roll pan is because when you are cutting stuff, so let's say I'm, chopping carrots. If I'm using baby carrots, those tend to kind of like pinball. If you cut them really small, they'll flick away. And so having it in the jelly roll pan with the edges on it, what that will do is it'll keep it from, rolling away onto the floor, things like that. The second reason why I like putting the cutting board inside the jelly roll pan is that as you are cutting, chopping, peeling, whatever you are doing, you don't have to stop, empty off your cutting board. So what I would do is I would cut whatever vegetable or fruit that I am cutting, and then I would just scrape it into the jelly roll pan, and it would stay there until I'm done and ready to put to move it into the bowl or to the pot. And then rather than having to move, tiny pieces of vegetables that could, spill all over the place, I can just take the entire cookie sheet and I can take it to the pot or the pan or the bowl and just dump it right in there. So everything is nice and neat and contained. Another safety technique is that when you are done using your knife, you're going to put your knife into the safe spot, okay? Your safe spot is at 12 o'clock of your cutting board, or if you have your cutting board inside a jelly roll pan, it is 12 o'clock of your jelly roll pan. And the reason why you want to do this, rather than leaving your knife right on top of your cutting board or on top of your jelly roll pan, is if you happen to bump that cutting board or the pan and you knock that knife, you could potentially knock it onto your foot and cut yourself. This way, when it is at 12 o'clock of the pan or the cutting board, you will always have the cutting board and or pan between you and the knife. If you are right-handed, you would want the handle of the knife to be towards your right hand. If you're left-handed, you would want to be towards your left. Then you're not going to grab the knife by the blade. When you are done with your knife, you can either wash your knife immediately and put it out of the way, or put it between the faucet and the splash guard on your sink with the blade down. Again, handle going towards the hand that you are using the most. Or the way I do it in my home is I have a colander, a strainer. It's a rectangle shaped one. The sides pull out, and so it will go the entire width of your sink so that it sits kind of above. And I put all of my silverware in there so that my silverware doesn't fall into my garbage disposal. That's all I have on safety. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me.